warm welcome to the Bitcoin School. My name is Teboho Ndebele, and today in this session we're looking at understanding the calculations of Bitcoins, or understanding the mathematics of Bitcoins. For you to be able to buy Bitcoins, you need some basic information on how calculations are done. And I believe in your first lesson you read that Bitcoins are made up of Satoshis, or the smallest part of a Bitcoin is a Satoshi. So when you bring together all these Satoshis, they make one Bitcoin. However, the Bitcoin is calculated, Satoshis, they come in decimal places. So you will have one Bitcoin, which is made out of 100 million Satoshis. That gives you one Bitcoin. So that's a 1.0. And it means you can have a fraction of a Bitcoin, meaning for you to have one Bitcoin, you need probably to add these fractions. So that's a 0.1 plus another 0.1 plus another 0, what's that, 0.1 and another 0.1. Let me do it properly here. So basically, if you wanted to check how many times you can have one Bitcoin here, you basically have to add this 0.1 times 10 pieces will give you, I'll just put an equal there so that you can see the mathematics part. Okay, is that? So I'm saying you need to have, to make this one Bitcoin, if you move from this step, you will have 0.1 and then you multiply it by, or let me just put it that way so that it becomes easy for anyone to see. You multiply that by 10. It should give you equals to that. Don't do the calculations, I'm just showing you, I don't want to complicate your life. So that's gonna be 1. So for you to have one Bitcoin, if you come from this, you need 10 million Satoshis times 10 to give you one Bitcoin. And in rand value, I'm just using the values for altcoin trade. That means 930, sorry. So this shows you that you can actually buy a piece of a Bitcoin, meaning you can buy a 0.01 piece for 93 rands. You can also buy a 0.01 for 9 rand 30 cents. That's how small you can buy. You don't necessarily need to buy a full Bitcoin, or you can always break it down to a smaller piece. So if one Bitcoin is 100 million Satoshis, it means you can have a fraction. If I remember in primary school, they will teach you 1/10, which is equals to 1/10 gives you what? You basically saying, shucks, this doesn't work. Okay, you basically saying, I'm trying to use the calculator here. You basically saying a 1/10. Why must it give me a date? Okay, the 1 over 10, you understand what I'm saying? It means, forget about the date, it means a 0.2. How do you do that? Let me do the calculation. Equals to 1 divided by 10. That will give you a 0.1. Sorry, it's a 0.1. So bitcoins are made out of fractions of a 0 point something, or you can have another 0.1, you can have another 0.1, you can have another 0.1, and you can have another 0.1 and another 0.1 and another 0.1. How many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Another 0.1, 8, another 0.1, 9, another 0.1. For you to have a full Bitcoin, so that basically will give you a sum of 1. So that's how that's the mathematics behind Bitcoins. You can buy a portion of a Bitcoin, or if you want, so you basically know that this will cost you what? A 0.1 will cost you 930 rand. So, and if there are 10 of them, they will give you the price for 9,300. So it will just be like here, this is BTC, and this is your rand value. So that's gonna be 930. So your 930 will be 10 times. That in total will give you 9,300, which is the total of a Bitcoin. So basically you can divide a Bitcoin into smaller portions. That is why you are able to buy a Bitcoin for 300 rand. So it means you're buying a portion of a Bitcoin, you're not buying a full Bitcoin. And let me give you another example. At school also you learned a 1 over 5 actually means 1 divided by 5, and that in mathematics, okay, don't worry about the 5 January, I need to do something here so that it doesn't take everything to the days. I need to format that, but that will be too much for you. So what I just wanted to show you is a 1 over 5, 1 divided by 5. That can also be a portion of a Bitcoin. So if you had that, and then you had another 1 over 5, and you had another 1 over 5, and you had another 1 over, what's that, plus 1 over 5. Sorry, 1 over 5. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 plus another 1 over 5. That will give me a 5 over 5. And a 5 over 5 in mathematics is equals to 1, which will give you, so what is a 1 over 5? I just want to see what fraction of a Bitcoin it is. It's going to be 1 divided by 5. That's the answer. So you've got a 0.2. And then when you look at here, so it means it's a 0.1 and another 0.1, which gives you another 0.2. So if you have this 0.2, if you were to convert it to rands, you will say times 930 times 930. Okay, so you have a 0.2. So what does it mean? It means that you have a 930 plus another 930, which will give you, I can just say is 930 multiplied by 2, which will give you 1000 something, whatever the answer is, equals to 930 multiplied by 2, 1860. So basically that is why you see that you can buy bitcoins for 1080, but it will obviously be in this region. If you wanted to buy a bitcoin for 100 rand, for example, it will be, so for 1,000 or something close to 1,000, you will have a 0.1 something, and for 100, let's say you're buying 700 bitcoins, so basically it's like you having your 0.07. If you wanted to buy your, let me say your 3,000 bitcoins, you know that if it's 3,000, it will be around this part, so it's gonna be around 0.3. If you wanted to buy 2 bitcoins, definitely it will be this one, so it will be this one plus another 1. And then the other thing that you know is, in mathematics, 0.1 times 10 will give you 10 over 10, and that all it means is a whole number. So we're using that primary education to come to a bitcoin. So the whole idea here is to show you the mathematics of bitcoins. So bitcoins can be sold in pieces. Just remember your apple. We can all share the apple. So if you were to slice your apple into pieces like a pawpaw, you go to a shop, you get a pawpaw for 5 rand or whatever, but if it's whole, it's 8 rand. So it's the same thing. You can slice the bitcoin into smaller pieces. Hence you find that somebody buys bitcoins for 900 rand, someone can buy bitcoins for 1,000, someone can buy bitcoins for 300 rands or 3,000, and someone can buy for 250 rands, and someone can buy for 7,000 or 70,000. Someone can buy for, let me say, 20,000, something like this. So in my imagination already, if you go back to this table here, if I'm buying around 900, it will be probably a 0.1 around that figure. So the emphasis here is on the decimal places. If I'm buying 1,000, it will still be in this region. Anything around 1,000 will be in this region. Oh shucks, what did I do here? Okay, anything around 1,000 will be in this region. Whether it's 1,000, it's 5,000, it's 6,000, it's 7,000. But once I reach 9,000, I'll still be here. And above 9,300, it means I'm now buying. I can buy bitcoins which are 1.5. That means I bought 1, which is this one, and 0.1 and 0.1 and 0.1 and 0.1 and 0.1 until they are 5. So this is broken up into 1 full bitcoin and 5 pieces of this part. So I'll have 0.1 and 0.1 and 0.1 and 0.1 and 0.1. In total, it gives me how much? It gives me